This is a famous paranormal incident of the Vietnam War, a historical horror incident that occurred on the battlefield and has been sealed to this day. During the 20-year Vietnam War, a place called Romeo silently took away the lives of countless sailors. Initially, there was a Bao Jun squad of 1 to 12 people. Then came the U.S. military personnel, followed by the Korean team of military personnel. Everyone until the end of the Second Vietnam War, as many as 650 missing 8th Route Army and U.S. troops were called Vietnam's Bermuda Triangle. The 9-member team of the South Korean Tigers also disappeared again. For 6 months, they kept receiving their distress signals and went looking for them. Smell, Hu Zhou Lian Bua, I Will Be Your Boyfriend is a film adapted from a real terrorist incident that was sealed up on the battlefield to this day. The story of Romeo's skills took place at the end of the Second Vietnam War. The Korean military's radio station suddenly received a call called the Wild S Squad's distress signal is located in Romeo Heights. Gua Tao confirmed in the music. Bandage-covered team members. A slightly trembling voice told the chief, "No, knowledge. Impossible. Think. He is a member of the Wild S Squad," explaining that the only one who survived, he had witnessed his comrades die tragically in front of him, so it was absolutely impossible for him to do so. Received Cheongzong's signal from teammates. When the leader didn't believe it, he immediately arranged for 9 people to form another field mouse team. All of them are from different troops. The youngest is a young general who is only 18 years old. Team I is calm and rational. Tai Xiongwei and the decisive Qingbu have only one goal for them, which is to find the missing persons. This task is relatively simple. The group did not have much burden or pressure. They arrived at the destination by boat. One person proposed. Pang Chung and Ing Wu, who was unhappy and stood up to decide. If you are afraid, you can take a picture to commemorate it. Afterwards, the group headed towards the dense forest. No one noticed that the 9 people turned into 10 people when they marched to a bamboo forest. There was nothing left in the girl except a sorcerer. The troops ordered her to be killed that night, and she prayed and everyone looked at each other in shock. No one could. The lieutenant had no choice but to lead the team and leaving the girl to fend for herself. The team continued to move forward, then clicked to start playing the mist. We finally reached the entrance of Romeo Point. A strange water glass was placed by the roadside. Hundreds of years ago, this was a place, the largest lake in the country. Because so many people were killed and the corpses almost filled it up. My epicenter vision as people also have. If your hands are stained with blood, you will not return. This sentence is obviously a warning, and a group of people, but they didn't take it seriously. Military commander who doesn't have a life or 2 on his hands? They closed the team and rested for the night. The 3 sailors chatted at the convenience of Mio General before going to the city. He is in the funeral business, so in his opinion, there is no sunshine in Romeo. Humid and foggy conditions are unsuitable for burying the dead, and for the living to live among poisonous snakes and ghosts. The 2 people were so frightened that they picked up their pants and left on the spot. Early the next morning, they found an abandoned building appearing out of thin air in front of them. Everyone is very strange. This is only 100 meters away. Why didn't you notice it at all last night? I rushed into the building with such a smell of velvet and found no one inside. Not to mention that this place has become a temporary base for the team. In order to complete the mission within a week, the team divided into 2 groups and started taking action. As a result, during the search process, comforting, I felt the desire to quit. That is, the person in front was slowly thrown into the grass half a person's height with a small watercolor drawn out of thin air, and I was stunned for a moment, and my lips kept trembling. Chasing the prosperous Tang dynasty and coexisting with fear in a huge CD. After the others returned to their stronghold, Wei, who was safe, disappeared. 2 groups of people quickly set out to search and finally came to a dilapidated. The temple found Wei shivering here. The strange thing is that this abandoned temple actually contains the burning universal symbol. Ali said that as a Vietnamese, the situation here should be such that no one dares to enter. Everyone returned to the camp with doubts, and I also told everyone what he saw and heard. I looked through my teammates' helmets, one by one, and shook them. On their helmets were the upgrade that concentrated. The income suddenly changed drastically, and there were bursts of screams and roars mixed with Korean. Are these the 9 missing sailors? Everyone's expressions gradually became solemn as they parted. Goldstone, come turn off the radio and put an end to this farce. When the atmosphere of terror has already cast a shadow in everyone's hearts. While I was on duty too, soldiers saw a vague figure outside. They thought it was a teammate who was coming back. There is no more control. At this time, there was loud thunder and lightning flashed across our floor. Tai Xiongwei, who was upstairs, could clearly see a figure in long xiang wearing a white dress, but in a blink of an eye, disappeared again. The next day, everyone continued to look for a soldier sitting on the stairs smoking. I looked up and saw a corpse hanging in the house, and this person is the private with the lowest rank in physics. Bi Zhongwei immediately suspected that this was the work of the Cantonese army. After searching, they came to the temple room again, and there was another commonality. The troops immediately ordered to set up a trap. We must find out this mysterious man. After completing the news from the headquarters, he gave me a big curse. It turns out that the private who died today was the missing person they were looking for, but the central defender was also puzzled that the private was obviously one of his team members. How could he be a missing person after being together for 50 people? Since they logged in, each headquarters stated that their teams. It has only been an idea. Stolen from 9 people. These, when Gimbel's big fish Wu Shengshi and a sailor are on my watch. Can't help but recall the owner of that helmet. It turns out that they used to possess each other and asked him to give a camera to their daughter. After the book, he went to the battlefield and never came back. Wu Xingji did not fulfill the last wish of his comrades, but instead confiscated the camera that they used to take pictures on the beach. That path on the other side of the post, he couldn't sleep at night and was thinking, alone. He suddenly heard a crisp ringing of bells and looked back. It was clear outside. Shin Dayu caught the light of lightning and noticed the woman in at this time Wuxian was trapped in memories. When he came back to his senses, he found that his beloved camera had been turned to the other side, snatched it away with a handful of his hands. He never thought about the cold tone of the other person's voice. Ask her what's wrong with her. This person looks like a dead comrade. He laughed so hard, but could crawl out of this point that he accidentally came to the temple. He looked at the cigarette still burning in the incense burner with horror. The sound of bells rings in my ears. Intuitively I was frightened out of my mind. When I made the parade step by step silent, a huge explosion sounded. As Black Eyeball explained, when everyone arrived, they only saw the article covered in blood. The trap set by the boss is silent. No one knows why he came here. The strange weirder is that they later discovered a helicopter that had crashed for a long time, and the corpse inside was the black American soldier I had seen before. This scene made the other 2 people break instantly. Could it be that the people they saw before were ghosts? Taiju made a decisive decision and returned to the camp. The troops here took the team members to search in order to find more clues. Unauthorized assertion. To explore further afield. All the concerns of everyone still follow closely behind. When we sit down to rest, eyes hiding in the dense forest staring at him. The troops seemed to be aware of this. Yang walked into the bamboo forest, alone with a gun, and he passed by in a flash and quickly surrounded him. Go up and give him the ancient sword of the army. In the distance, so he looks for it everywhere. But only the troop helmets were found on the edge of the cliff. He and his own people also started to set up a camp. When they passed a small river, they saw dozens of miles of cement buried in the ground. He was frightened again and again. Taoism is on the road ahead. Even more so, everyone always boasts. We need to remain in awe of him. This is Wu Shulin. If you don't like it, don't forget to like, follow, and forward the bearing. Us. See you next time.